Angie, great question. Everyone can relate to, I'm sure. Getting your heart broken. Well, geez, is there anything more painful than getting your heart broken? Really? There might be, but it's if not the thing, it's close to the top there. Getting your heart broken. Wow, we've all felt it. I felt it many times. It is an illusion. It's a total illusion. And it's intoxicating. We're almost drawn to it in a way, in a sense. Maybe that's part of the reason we repeat it, among other reasons. Of course, it'd be a lot of other reasons through all this complex expression. But as challenging and as really horrible as it can feel to have your heart broken, it's so powerful, it's almost intoxicating. You know what I mean? Which is why I think we tend to start, when we first get our heart broken, our egos, our minds, and our emotions, all that are really active at that point, tend to like to romanticize even, which is why we see, if you look at romance movies and romantic songs, there's more, it's the most, if you really look at them, they cover it all, but a great percentage of them are about heartbreak, tragedy, love loss. We talk much more about love loss than love found, I feel. Or maybe we just tend to notice that more. So either way, we have more focus on the loss. And so even when we go through it, we tend to then dive into those videos and dive into movies and dive into and just generally day to day almost relish the the suffering that comes from a heartbreak. It's very bizarre, but it is very unpleasant and difficult. I'm just saying, but it's so powerful. Like I said, it's almost intoxicating, the experience of working through heartbreak. But it is illusion. It's a powerful illusion, a necessary illusion to all. Everything here is necessary. There's no mistakes. It can teach us so much, but it is an illusion because it's more tied into ego and identity, and it's really less about true love, right? It's more when because if there's heartbreak, it means somebody's, two people who felt drawn to each other and felt love for each other, then either both or one, for whatever reason, obviously decided to move on. Or they couldn't decide to move on, and they were so lost in their mind and their thoughts and in their own fears and suffering that instead they acted out. And I think that's why we see cheating and we see things like that, where they're still in a relationship, but they're doing things that are pretty much, not only testing it, but quite often inevitably leading it to an end. Because if you don't want to be in it, we see a lot of times where people will leave one person for another person. Not the best approach, I think, but it's up to all of us to make our own decisions, and there's exceptions everywhere. But I would say leaving someone it's like the rebound thing, right? So first of all, because if something's missing in the relationship, then if you're leaving one person and then finding another person to replace that, then you're also missing the opportunity to go inward, which is very important in between. People, I've said it a few times in my videos, we really should embrace when a relationship ends and take the time, lots of time, months, if not years, but months at least, to just marinate in ourselves, take the opportunity and process what we've gone through. And that way, the next relationship, we can step in stronger. And in life, we can step in stronger. And so I highly encourage you to take those breaks and not just jump into another one. But when we see people leave one relationship for another one, they've already found somebody that they feel is calls to them more. Kind of the same thing. They're I'm getting a little sidetracked here. um, yeah, so when they find somebody else and then they're going to shift over to them, sometimes, timing, they can't help it. That person came into their life. I mean, we attract everything. But yeah, it behooves us to take time, I think, and if you're going to end a relationship, I think it'd be less suffering for everybody if people instead, if you want to leave someone, don't make somebody else the excuse. If you really feel that, then first really contemplate if that's fear or frustration, or whether it's really a movement of the heart. And if it is, then as compassionately as you can and rationally as you can, then we work through that, and then you can end that one, take some time for yourself, and go into another one. So that's, I think, the better way. If I would like to see a world where people did more of that, and of course I would like to see cheating disappear. But again, it's an expression, but it's done to death, and it really hurts the other person, and there's no reason for it, because really it's just an expression. You're not happy in the relationship, something's going on, and quite often that some part of you wants out. Not always. So, I mean, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But, yeah, it behooves us, even the person that does it, they're going to have to work through later that they did that, and they're going to beat themselves up too, and, So it just behooves everybody less suffering and more movements of the heart if we realize that if you're feeling that urge, that there's a better way to go about it. But either way, back to the main topic. These things do happen, and so some of those are ways, the more extreme heartbreaks. And sometimes it's, nobody's cheated, nobody's left, nobody's wronged anybody. There's a lot of that, of course, probably more of that, and so that's good. But quite often, just people move on, right? It's just not feeling right anymore. I think, in general, we give up too quick. I think people could, if they really love someone, there's a lot of examples we see where they could have, because we're just switching off so much is all I'm saying. I mean, again, there's really no mistakes, but if we see the patterns, I mean, people just are constantly switching off, and that's part of the expression too, but we're each gifts to each other, so I think we could cherish the gifts a little more, give them a little more of a chance before we walk away. And if you got to walk away, but why not give them more of a chance? So I do think we can also reduce a little heartbreak by giving each other a little more of a chance and really, again, stepping away into stillness and reevaluating and trying to come back into the relationship. Sorry, my camera shut off. Heartbreak. So, yeah, let's get back to that. And let's get back into the actual feeling of it and going through it. I was more giving my feelings on it in general. But yeah, it's the most powerful thing we can go through. And so it can be tough. So you're going to feel your way. I say do what works for you to get through it, to work your way through it. It's best to feel your way through it than think your way through it, like anything in life. I mean, you are going to think anyways, but try not to spin up in the mind. If you're going through heartbreak, don't keep rehearsing everything. Try not to. I mean, it'll still happen, but eventually, if you really make the choice, you'll start to hear yourself saying the same thing again. If only this person could have this, or only if I could have, just catch yourself and go gently and go into stillness. And just keep going into stillness and keep feeding your soul and do things that make you happy. Basically, what I always say is just even more so. Every advice that I always give in my videos about when life's, giving you challenges are tough, or you're turned around, or whatever you're going through, whatever challenges, to return to stillness and tap into yourself, and as well do things that you love. Really spoil yourself and make the choice to really be happy. So with heartbreak, it's just the same thing, but even more so. I mean, it's the number one agenda, because it's like you got to now, because you're going through one of the toughest things. So I feel for you if you're going through it, but we all go through it. There's nothing like it. I also recommend, some people like to eliminate all evidence. I leave that up to you. I don't really believe in that. I don't think we should, when people give you gifts in a romance, or you create things that, photographs or videos or, whatever it is, you've, written cards and stuff to each other, with notes, whatever the physical creations of that, you want to reduce them or put them away so that you're not, again, feeding the suffering by going through what's gone and not letting go. So you definitely want to put them aside. I wouldn't say throw them away necessarily. You can always make that decision later. Some people, I see this, again, if it works for you, but I don't work that way. I don't want to eliminate every evidence of people, because they were gifts, whether they were tough gifts or whether it didn't work out the way we want. We're all gifts as part of your life. So basically, I like to keep just one or two mementos or something. So I do get rid of most stuff, because we will accumulate a lot of stuff. So either put it away or eliminate most of it. But I would also recommend keep one or two things. Still honor them. Put it away though. So basically don't. Again, just like not going up in the mind, don't sit there going through all the material, the things you've created together, because put all that aside. So put aside all the evidence of it, and try not to, stalk them on Facebook, or, you know what I mean? If you're friending them on Facebook, try not to go to their page, because you will a lot. Or whatever, however they can be found online. Or if it's a physical and they live close by, don't go to places on purpose they're going to be. Those are all things that, again, feed this again and are not acceptance. So embrace acceptance. First of all, heartbreak. You got to accept what is. And then be grateful when you can for what they did bring in your life and what's in your life right now. And just keep returning to stillness. Just return to loving yourself. Don't focus all your love on them anymore, because they've moved on. You'll still love them, and you'll love them through the whole process. But don't focus all your energy and all your love on them. Return it and focus it on you, which is always the number one thing you should be doing anyways. In romance, first and foremost, we should always be our greatest love. We should love ourselves first and foremost. That's your greatest love affair. Embrace that one always, even when you're in a relationship, but especially when you're in tough times or in heartbreak. Yeah, return to that. Return to your own. So the way to get through it, stillness and the choice to be happy, and then just begin a love affair with yourself again and focus on that. Just get into it. That's the one rebound that's okay. Well, anything's okay, but what I mean is that's really beneficial. So instead of doing a rebound out there, do a rebound in here. Rebound back to yourself and have a romance with yourself. And no worries, it is just illusion, very powerful illusion, but it is illusion. Everything's okay. They still love you. They stay deep in their core, they still love you. We all love each other. It's okay. Things change, people move on. It's really no big deal. It can feel like a big deal, certainly. But once we practice acceptance and we get over the disappointment of what we wanted, etc., and get over the misunderstandings and hurt feelings, and practice forgiveness, of course. Practice forgiveness. Forgive yourself, forgive them. We're all doing the best we can. So I hope I answered your question. Heartbreak, yeah. But no worries, you'll get through it. We all do.